Hello everyone. Today we are going to discuss about Peoplesoft ACM Global Payroll. Global Payroll has three business processes: payroll, absence, and banking. It has integration with Peoplesoft HR, where our employee data or pay data comes from. Next one is Peoplesoft Time and Labor module, where users submit timesheet and timesheet information is feeded and flow into your global payroll. Other one is Peoplesoft General Ledger. This is post-processing of global payroll. So the main advantage of global payroll is it supports multinational environments, and additionally it supports multiple countries, languages, currencies, and European Monetary Unit processing requirements. Global payroll is a combination of two main parts: a core application engine and the country extension. A core application engine is further divided into payroll rules engine, payroll processing framework, processes and setup common to all countries. Country extension is further subdivided into statutory and customary objects for the country and country-specific rules and elements. So let's now move on to a live session and see how does the payroll works. So now we are going to process a payroll for a calendar and see how it is going to happen. First, I need to create a period ID under define calendar navigations, add a new value. Now I will create a calendar for March 2021. So I give naming convention as March 2021. I will be adding a description. My period date will be 1st March and end date will be 31st March 2021. Frequency will be monthly. I click on save. Now we go to next page of calendar creation. Here we enter the pay group and the calendar ID. March 2021 payroll. And I will click on add. We will enter the period ID that we just created previously and we'll be entering the payment date. Run type will be as KPGP pay. Select the pay selection as active pay with positive input and pending retroactive changes. So let me briefly explain the other pay selection option. Active pay only. It will pick only pay which are active from payroll perspective. If the payee is inactive or terminated, it will not be processed. Active pay with. It comes with pending positive input or pending retro changes. So it pick both, but it will not execute for any other payees. So it is either the case or both. Positive input and pending retroactive changes. While this option, active plus pay with, include all active payees and payees who were ever active in the pay group. If you select this, you must select positive input checkbox or pending retro changes checkbox or both. All payees. This is to include those payees who have pending in positive input or pending retroactive triggers. You need to choose either of the options or both. Listed pay option, choose this option to select the list of pays for processing rather than having system identify them automatically. For now, we select active plus pay with positive input and pending retroactive changes. And I will click on save. Mind it, this is a payroll calendar, March 2021 calendar, and the runtime is payroll run. Similarly, we have to create absence calendar. Navigation is same, just we need to enter the pay group and calendar ID as March 2021 and add it. Keep the same period ID, March 2021, and run type as KPGP ABS. I, that is for absence run. In target calendar, you need to link the payroll calendar. So your absence will flow eventually to your payroll calendar. Unless you link payroll calendar here, your absence won't flow. So again, active plus pay with positive input and pending retroactive changes. Now our calendar is ready. Let's create a calendar group. Let me show you the navigation. You need to go to global payroll and absence management, absence and processing, define calendars. Here you see period also, right? So similarly, we click on calendar groups. I am adding the calendar group ID as March 2021, providing the description. Here you can say IND, that is defining as India. Since I logged in as with India user profile and credential, thus country defaulted to India. Let me add the sequence number. The sequence here is the order in which you want to process your calendar. Enter the sequence ID and pay group and calendar IDs. So first you need to enter absence because your absence should flow into payroll. The sequence in which you add here is the order of processing. So let's say I'm adding March 2021 absence. I'm adding one row and now I will add the payroll calendar ID. March 2021 payroll. I click on save. If you see process retro triggers, checkbox is checked by default. So this checkbox allow retro processing to happen. I will elaborate on this retro processing after some time. So now process the calendar group March 2021 and see what happens. Navigate to global payroll absence management, absence and payroll processing, and calculate absence and payroll. Here we will give calendar group ID as March 2021. Here we see various processing phases and options. Let's discuss one out of one. Identify. This option will only identify all pays that are to be processed. It doesn't process and it do not process any payment. Calculate. This phase actually computes each pay gross and net earnings for a payroll run or absence takes. Let's process and see this calendar. Selecting the process PS Unix. This is a GP pay process. If you see, this process is a PS job that comprises of three processes. First is GP pay before, next is GP PDP run, and last is GP pay after. GP pay before is used for pre-processing and GP pay after is used for reporting purpose. GP PDP run is a COBOL process and it's actually a main process of the core GPay engine for global payroll. Let's see. Yeah, it went into success. To review the calendar results, we navigate to global payroll absence management, absence and payroll processing, review absence and payroll info, and results by calendar group. Let's search here by calendar group ID as March 2021. This will list you all the employees for this calendar group March 2021. Let's pick one pay and see the results. Oh, so the results are empty. There are no results. Calendar ID did not pick any calendar ID or other info. Even if you go to earnings and deductions, this tab you won't see anything being populated. Let's now see what could be the possible reason why payee are selected but not processed. Let's go to payee messages. It's under the same navigation. So here you can filter out using the employee ID, or you can click on matching messages. You can see here 13 payees are selected and there are 13 entries here. It shows pay and calculation status as no segment created, which is the exact reason we are not seeing any entries under the calendar group. The reason behind it is because the pay is already open in another calendar GP2019M05, and that is why the pay is under error. So in global payroll, you cannot run a calendar if you have another calendar open. You can run for a calendar only when you finish or finalize your previous calendar. So let's go back and finalize that KP2019M05 calendar and rerun our March 2021 calendar after that and see what happens. I added the calendar group ID KP2019M05 and we can see calendar is already calculated and ready to finalize. So I click on finalize and process this calendar. So it ran to success. Previous calendar is finalized. Let's see by entering this calendar group again. We can see that it is not listing it here because once a calendar is finalized, you cannot do anything. It is not reversible. So if you see any calculation error or any corrections needed to be done, you have to do it before you finalize it. Now let's recalculate our March 2021 calendar. Click on run. Selecting the server name. I'm running this process. So this process will take some time. While this process finish, let's discuss about various processing options we see here. Identify and calculate. I already told you, identify is only for identification and calculate will calculate the for employee payroll. Now freeze. It will not allow any changes and freeze payroll processing. You might want to stop processing pay with iterative triggers and concentrate on correcting error so that you can finalize your payroll. Suspend active. If a pay is active in other calendar group and that calendar is open, that is not yet finalized, and if we select this option, the pay will be suspended from that calendar. Finalize option. This option is only selection when you have reviewed your selections thoroughly and satisfied with the results. Because once it is done, you can no longer make the changes. So ensure you select only when you are done with your changes. Calculate and recalculate. You see two options here. The difference here is you choose calculate for first run after identification is done, and thereafter if you calculate, then only the page with the trigger, an active trigger, will be picked up for processing. But if you want to reprocess for all pages, you need to click both calculate and recalculate options. So I'm selecting calculate and recalculate all, and I'm running the process. So let's see the status of our process. Yes, it ran to success. Let's see the results by calendar group. I will enter our calendar group ID as March 2021. So now you can see we have an absence calendar with payroll calendar generated. So let me explain little bit of navigation. This is a detailed segment detail for this calendar. March 2021 absence calendar. So here you can see the target calendar ID and your calculation type. So calculation is successful. This way we can confirm that it is completed. Now we go to earning and deduction section. Since it's absence calendar, so it doesn't have any detail here. Now let's go to payroll calendar. Here we see some amount processing for pay, showing gross value and net value. Gross value is 21,450, net value is 19,138. That is after deductions. If you see here, there are two type of elements that you can see. Earnings and deductions tab. These are the earnings and deductions. Earnings are the amount that you receive and deductions are the amount that are deducted from your payment. For example, PF, that is a provident fund, professional tax is PT. Any other tax deductions, pension amount will show up here. This is for India. So you are seeing here India specific elements. Let us see retro we talked about in previous slides. Meaning of retro is any backdate transactions. Let's take a simple case of it. Suppose we process March 2021 calendar, analyze it, processed and finalized. Now next month, calendar is April 2021. We realize that we forget to give the hike to user KP001, which is effective March 2021. So what would we do is giving a pay hike in job data, and you can process April 2021 calendar, which will pick up the retro. So that will be we are going to see now. Let us go to job data, workforce administration, job information, and job data. Let us search employee KP0001. Click on add a row. This is a job data page, belongs to core HR. So this page is integrated with payroll page. This is not global payroll page. This is just a core HR page. Let us go back to our calendar, finalize it, and then we will come back here again. So I will enter the calendar ID as March 2021. Let me finalize it. Run the process. Go to process monitor, check the status. So this process will take some time. While we finalize, let us look into job data. Entering KP0001, adding a new effective dated row. Effective 01st March 2021. And action we choose as pay rate change. These are here all basic job data fields: business unit, company, department, establishment ID, location, etc. Same-wise, these are job details specific to these pays like job code, full-time, part-time, number of hours, and FTE, etc. We will go to compensation tab. We will increase the compensation of a pay to 10,000 and click on calculate compensation and save the details. It is just warning. You can ignore it by pressing OK. Click on payroll tab. I would like to highlight this pay group field. While creating the calendar group, we give pay group. So how does the pay has been picked up for the calendar group is because of this field only. This is a major integration part of the global payroll and core SCM. So this pay is associated with the pay group KP1, PG1. So that is the reason pay is picked up for processing. Now we click. Let's see how our calendar state. What is our calendar status? The process is success, I guess, hopefully. Yeah. So let us go to calendar process page and see the difference. Navigate to year-end processing and results by calendar group. Enter March 2021, hit search. Let me open this segment detail. Earlier status was calculated. Now it is finalized. So this is how you know the status of the calendar. Now let us create calendar for April 2021. So same navigation again. Click on period. Enter detail as date of 01 and end date as 30th April 2021 and select the frequency as monthly. Click on save. Now we need to create the calendars for April 2021. So click on add a new value. Enter the pay group that I was discussing on the job data page. Enter the calendar ID as April 2021 payroll and click on add. So I need to enter the period ID April 2021. Same settings, payment date, run type as KPGP pay. And again, the active plus pays with positive input and pending retroactive changes. Click on save. Now create a calendar for absence. Add a new value KP1 PG1 and a calendar ID is April 2021 ABS. Now click on add the same pay group over here. Target calendar, and you need to provide the payroll calendar here. It is important to link the payroll calendar over here. Now click on active plus pay with positive input and pending retroactive changes and click on save. Similar way we create the calendar group. Click on add a new value. Calendar group ID is April 2021. I click on add. Description is April 2021. Same country India, and in the sequence order ensure you have your absence as your first sequence and secondly would be your payroll. Click on save. So our calendar group is ready. Navigate to prepare payroll and review triggers. Select the employee ID KP001. Click on retro. Search with India. So we have given retro compensation change. So how does our payroll come to know about the change? For this, we have triggers, that is event, condition and action. So the changes you made in Peoplesoft for global payroll, it will create a trigger. So our payroll will identify that there will be a particular change for the pay through this trigger. See unprocessed here. I trigger status is not processed. So this trigger is effective from 1st of March 2021 for compensation and job data. Let's calculate the payroll calendar for April 2021. Identify, calculate, and click on run. We'll go to the process monitor, run the process. It went to success. Let's see what happened to the pay. Navigate to review absence, payroll, and results by calendar group. I will open that KP001. So this is interesting part. You will see March calendar also paid in the April 2021 calendar group. So our March 2021 retro hike pay entry was taken into account by our GPPDP run process. Let's see. Let me open another tab and show you the difference between actual March calendar that is processed in March 2021 calendar group. So if you see the gross value here 21450, this is March payroll calendar which processed in March 2021 calendar group. This is March 2021 calendar processed in April 2021 calendar group. The gross value now is 45,900. So our basic and everything got increased. Let's see what happened in our April 2021 payroll calendar. So there is a tab called retro adjustment. As you can see here, 9,000 changed to 90,000, 19,000. Out of 19,000, 9,000 is already paid to the pay in March calendar. So the delta value, I remaining value of 10,000. So this 10,000 is forwarded to our April 2021 payroll calendar as an adjustment. So this is called retroactive adjustment or processing. It will automatically pick up the retro process it and do calculation top of it and add it to the net value. Let me show some of the reports for global payroll processing. So navigate to absence payroll processing, reports, and payroll results register. Let's select the calendar group ID as March 2021. Click on run. So I have selected list set already and country is India. So this is list set associated with it. So when it comes to reporting, it is majority related to the country extension related. So India is associated with GP triple 4 times 0 and 1. So there are only two reports. One is payroll results registers and the other is absence results register. So now run and see. Process name is GP request, as you can see here, GP RGST. Process went to success. Click on view log and trace. So this is a PDF file which is actually a payroll report register, which is a detailed report generated for each pay. So where do we get our pay information? Refer this pay ID KP0019. Let's look at our pay KP0001. So this is the pay KP001 for which we are running the payroll since the beginning. Base salary, we can see it is 9,000. It is given the breakdown of each including the gross and the net pay. Likewise, it generates for each pay. Similarly, we can generate the report for absence report register. So in today's session, what we have learned covered is creation of periods, creation of calendars, linking of calendar to calendar group, process, couple of payrolls, retro processing, various controls for payroll and absence processing, delivered reports, payroll report registers. So this is all for today's session in global payroll. We'll be discussing more topics in our upcoming sessions. Thank you for watching.